My wife of 7 years cheated with my best friend in our bed, then got pregnant and tried to pass it off as mine. So I did this after the birth, and now they both lost everything. Throwaway for obvious reasons. I, male, 34, don't know who else to talk to about this. My friends all know my wife and my best friend, and I just can't deal with the looks of pity anymore. So here goes. My wife, Megan, female 32, and I have been married for 7 years. We met at a local brewery through mutual friends. I was attracted to her laugh and how she could talk about anything with anyone. We dated for 2 years before I proposed. Adam, male 35, was my best man at our wedding. It was small, only about 60 people. My mom said it was intimate, but really we just couldn't afford anything bigger, and honestly, neither of us wanted some huge production. I thought we had a perfect marriage. I mean, we had normal couple fights about stupid stuff like loading the dishwasher wrong or me working late, but nothing major. I'm a software engineer for a company that makes industrial software. Boring, I know, and I travel about once a month for implementations. Megan works as a marketing manager for a local company. We bought our house 4 years ago. Nothing fancy, just a 3-bedroom in the suburbs that we thought would be perfect to start a family in. Speaking of family, we'd been trying for a baby for almost 2 years with no luck. It was starting to get to both of us, I think. All the scheduled sex and disappointment every month. My mom hasn't helped either, bringing up grandkids at every family dinner. My brother has 3 kids already, but apparently that's not enough for her. So, about Adam. He's been my best friend since freshman year of college. We were randomly assigned as roommates and just clicked. He was there through everything. My first major breakup, when I failed that huge final in our 3rd year, when my grandmother died. We've done an annual fishing trip every summer since graduation. He was even the one who introduced me to Megan at that brewery. Adam went through a really messy divorce about 1.5 years ago. His ex-wife cheated on him with her boss. He was pretty wrecked about it, and then a few months later, he also got laid off. I wanted to be there for him like he'd always been for me. I encouraged him to come over for dinner, watch games, just hang out at our place whenever. I even asked him to check in on Megan when I traveled for work because I worried about her being alone too much with all the baby stress. I completely trusted both of them. Completely. I mean, he was like a brother to me, and Megan, she was my whole world. But looking back, I did notice some changes in her behavior that I don't know, I didn't put together at the time. She got really protective of her phone, would take it with her everywhere, even to the bathroom, started working out more intensely, buying new clothes and lingerie that I rarely saw her wear, and she seemed distant, emotionally. Not all the time, but enough that I noticed. I thought it was just stress from work or the whole fertility struggle. I never once thought she would, God, I'm so fucking stupid. Then about 6 months ago, I came home early from a business trip to surprise her. The client meeting finished a day early, and I thought it would be nice to not tell her and just show up. I should have called. I should have fucking called. I noticed Adam's car in the driveway, but didn't think anything of it. I figured he was just checking in on her like I'd asked him to so many times. I had a key, obviously, so I let myself in quietly, thinking maybe I could surprise them both and we could all grab dinner or something. The house was quiet, except for some music playing upstairs. I remember it was that weekend song Megan really likes. I headed up the stairs and started hearing noises. You know what kind of noises? My brain didn't want to process it. I think I actually stood there for like 20 seconds trying to convince myself it was the TV or something. I opened our bedroom door and, yeah, there they were. In our bed. The bed I fucking paid for in the house. I pay most of the mortgage on. Megan saw me first. The look on her face, I'll never forget it. She yanked the sheet up to cover herself and started saying something, but I couldn't hear anything. It was like I couldn't hear a thing. Adam jumped up, grabbing for his clothes, trying to say it was a mistake. I just stood there like an idiot, completely frozen. I remember I dropped my luggage in the doorway. Megan started crying, saying this wasn't what it looked like, which is literally the most cliché thing she could have possibly said in that moment. I didn't say anything, not a single word. I just turned around and walked out. I stayed at a hotel for like 5 nights. Both of them blew up my phone with calls and texts. I read some of Megan's texts, but none of Adam's. I couldn't even look at his name without wanting to throw up or put my fist through a wall. My brother finally convinced me that I should at least hear Megan out before making any permanent decisions. So I agreed to meet her at a coffee shop. No way was I going back to the house yet. She looked terrible, which gave me some small satisfaction. She cried through most of it. She told me it was a terrible mistake that just happened while I was traveling so much. She said she'd been feeling lonely and unappreciated. She admitted it had only been going on for a few months, as if that makes it better. She begged for another chance and said she'd do anything to fix it. Go to counseling, whatever I wanted. I didn't know what to do. Part of me wanted to just end it right there. But we'd been together for 9 years total. You don't just throw that away without at least trying, right? Or maybe you do. I don't know. So I agreed to try counseling, but told her I needed time and space. I stayed with my brother for another week, then moved back home but slept in the guest room. We started seeing a marriage counselor, but I was basically just going through the motions. I was still so angry and hurt, I could barely look at her. Adam kept trying to contact me, but I blocked him on everything. Our mutual friends told me he was a mess, feeling guilty, wanted to apologize. Like I give a shit. He was dead to me. Then, about 6 weeks after I caught them, Megan came into the guest room one night. She was crying again, but this time it was different. She handed me a pregnancy test. Positive. I just stared at it like an idiot. We'd been trying for 2 years with no luck. And now, after I caught her cheating, suddenly she's pregnant. She swore it was mine. She told me the timing lined up with when we were still having sex, before I caught them. She said she'd get a paternity test if I wanted, do whatever it took to prove it to me. And part of me, part of me was actually happy for a second. This was what we'd wanted for so long. Maybe this baby could be the thing that fixed us. But the other part of me, the timing is just too convenient, and now I don't know what to do. If this is my child, I want to be there. I want to be a father. But how can I ever trust her again? Sorry this got so long. I guess I just needed to get it all out. I haven't made any permanent decisions yet. We're still going to counseling. I'm still sleeping in the guest room. But there's a baby coming now, and I need to figure out what to do. Edit, for those asking, yes, we're still doing the paternity test. She agreed right away, which makes me think she's telling the truth, but I'm not taking any chances. A lot of you are asking about Adam's divorce, and if his ex really cheated, or if that was a lie too. As far as I know, that was true. Mutual friends confirmed it happened. I don't think he made that up, which makes this betrayal even more fucked up, given he knew how much it hurt to be cheated on. To the people saying I should check her phone, I haven't. Maybe I should have, but I don't know if I want to see what's there. And yes, I know I said they'd only been having an affair for a few months, according to her, but honestly, I have no idea if that's true or if it's been going on longer. I don't know what to believe anymore. Now for the first update. So, it's been about 7 months since my last post, and honestly, I didn't think I'd be updating because I thought we were working things out. But, well, a lot has happened. After finding out Megan was pregnant, I decided to try to make things work for the baby's sake. I know. Looking back, I was being an idiot, but whatever. We kept going to marriage counseling, which was basically just an hour every week of Megan crying and the counselor talking about rebuilding trust and open communication while I sat there nodding and pretending it was helping. It wasn't, but I figured I should at least try, I tried to be supportive during the pregnancy. I went to all the doctor appointments, helped set up the nursery, read all those stupid parenting books. I even went to one of those weekend preparing for baby workshops with her, where I was the only guy who wasn't constantly smiling. The instructor kept giving me these concerned looks like, "You okay, bro?" "No, lady, I'm not okay, but thanks for asking." Adam kept trying to contact me. He sent like 1,000,000 texts apologizing and saying how much he valued our friendship, lol, and how it was the biggest mistake of his life, and all that BS. He even sent this handwritten letter that I threw straight in the garbage without opening it. Like, what did he expect? "Oh, you slept with my wife, but you wrote me a nice letter, so we're cool now." Fuck off. I told Megan I was fully committed to moving forward for the baby's sake, and I meant it. I really did. But at the same time, I installed security cameras around the house. For safety, when the baby arrives, that's what I told her anyway, and started keeping this detailed journal of weird stuff she did, or times when her stories didn't quite add up. I know that sounds paranoid, but after what happened, I just couldn't fully trust her, Megan would take a lot of work calls in another room or out in the backyard. At the time, I thought she was just giving me space since things were still awkward between us, but looking back, yeah. She also got super enthusiastic about our marriage all of a sudden, planning date nights, cooking my favorite meals, initiating sex way more than before, which was weird since she'd been complaining about being too tired for it for months before I caught them. I thought she was genuinely remorseful and trying to make things right. I was such an idiot. I started running to clear my head. Like, a lot. I'd never been a runner before, but suddenly I was doing 5 miles every morning before work. My knees hate me now, but it helped with the anger. I just put on headphones and run until I couldn't think anymore. Megan's sister threw her this big baby shower when she was about 7 months along. It was women only, thank God, but I helped set up before everyone arrived. When I came back to help clean up afterward, I felt like such an outsider. All these women cooing over tiny clothes and sharing birth stories while I stood in the corner feeling terrible. Megan's mom kept saying how the baby would definitely have the family nose, and everyone laughed while I just stood there wondering if they all knew something I didn't. Then came the birth. Jesus, I don't even know how to describe that day. Megan woke me up at like 2 a.m. saying her contractions were getting regular. We grabbed the hospital bag that had been packed for weeks because Megan is super organized about that stuff, and drove to the hospital. The whole drive there, I kept thinking, this is it, I'm going to be a dad, and then immediately thinking, but am I really though? The labor went pretty fast, especially for a first baby. The nurses kept saying she was progressing beautifully and all that. Megan was in a lot of pain and kept reaching for my hand during contractions. She'd look at me with tears in her eyes and tell me how glad she was that I was there and how much she loved me. I'd just nod and tell her she was doing great, because what else could I do? There was this scary moment when the baby's heart rate dropped, and like 3 doctors rushed in. I got pushed back against the wall and just stood there feeling completely useless and thinking, do I even belong here? But then everything stabilized, and the doctors seemed calm again. After about 8 hours total, Emma finally arrived. She came out screaming loudly, which the doctor said was a good sign. They cleaned her up, weighed her, 7 pounds 4 ounces, and then placed her in Megan's arms. I just stood there staring at this tiny person who was supposedly my daughter, and that's when I noticed it. Emma had this distinctive cleft in her chin. Not like a huge one, but definitely noticeable. Neither Megan nor I have that, but you know who does. Fucking Adam. This nurse, who obviously had no idea about our situation, actually said, she must take after someone in the family with that cute little chin dimple. I felt sick. Megan wouldn't look at me. The weeks after Emma was born were filled with no sleep, diaper changes, and me staring at her face, looking for my features and finding none. She had this shape to her eyes that everyone kept commenting on. Oh, she has such unique eyes! Megan's cousin actually said, she looks just like someone, but I can't put my finger on who, and Megan immediately changed the subject. Every time someone mentioned how Emma didn't look like either of us, Megan would get this panicked look and quickly say something like, oh, she's still changing so much, baby's features develop over time, or whatever. Despite everything, I started bonding with Emma. I'd rock her at 3 a.m. when she wouldn't stop crying and Megan was exhausted. Her tiny hand would wrap around my finger, and I'd just sit there thinking about how none of this was her fault. She didn't ask to be born into this mess. When Emma was about 2 months old, I ordered a paternity test kit online. I waited until Megan was in the shower one day, quickly swabbed Emma's cheek, and sent it off. The wait for those results was the longest 2 weeks of my life. During those 2 weeks, I noticed Megan's phone was constantly lighting up with texts from someone saved as Work Karen. Like, who gets that many texts from a coworker at 11 p.m. or 5 a.m.? Come on. Then one day, when I was at work, I got an alert from our security camera, which Megan didn't know sent notifications to my phone, that someone was at the front door. I checked the footage and saw Adam, fucking Adam, at my house. I watched the footage later of him coming inside, holding Emma, and Megan kissing him in our living room. I literally threw up in my office trash can. My coworker thought I had food poisoning and kept trying to give me Pepto-Bismol. The paternity test results came a few days later. 0% probability of me being Emma's biological father. Even though I'd suspected it, seeing it confirmed in black and white was, I don't even have words. I didn't confront Megan right away. Instead, I contacted a divorce attorney. I forwarded all the security footage, started gathering phone records, and made copies of the paternity test results. My lawyer advised me to document everything, so I went back through my journal and organized all the inconsistencies I'd noticed. I'm not going to reveal my whole plan yet because I'm still in the middle of executing it. But let's just say I'm going to make sure everyone knows exactly what kind of people Megan and Adam really are. They tried to trick me into raising another man's child while continuing their affair behind my back. They don't get to just walk away from that. I know this is already super long, so I'll stop here. I'll update again once everything is done. And before anyone asks, yes, I'm devastated about Emma. I spent months thinking I was her father, preparing to raise her, loving her, and now I don't even know if I'll ever see her again after this is all over. That's the part that keeps me up at night. Edit. For those asking if I'm 100% sure about the paternity test, yes, I used a reputable company and the results were definitive. 0% chance I'm the father. A lot of you are asking why I didn't confront Megan immediately after seeing Adam on the security camera. I wanted to have all my evidence gathered and my plan in place first. My lawyer advised me not to tip my hand too early. To answer everyone asking about my relationship with Emma going forward, honestly, I don't know. Legally, she's not my responsibility, but I did bond with her for the first couple months of her life. It's complicated and painful, and I haven't figured it out yet. Now for the second update. So it's been a while since my last update, and I wasn't sure if I'd post again, but so many of you have been messaging me asking for an update that I figured I should probably let you all know what happened. After I got those paternity test results back, 0% chance I was Emma's father, which by the way still hurts to type, I didn't immediately blow up like some of you suggested in the comments. I spent about 6 weeks just planning. I know that probably sounds cold or calculated or whatever, but after being manipulated for so long, I felt like I needed to protect myself and do this right. First thing I did was meet with an attorney. Yes, like literally all of you told me to do, lol. I wanted to know exactly what my rights were, what I was legally obligated to do for Emma, and how to protect my assets. The lawyer laid out all my options and helped me create a plan. I went kind of overboard with the preparation, to be honest. I gathered copies of all our financial records, bank statements, investment accounts, retirement funds, everything. I quietly moved most of my portion of our joint savings to a separate account my lawyer helped me set up. I want to be super clear though, I only took what was mine. I left all of Megan's earnings untouched. I'm not a thief, even if she is a liar. I also started documenting everything. Like I became weirdly obsessed with writing down every interaction with dates and notes. I kept this detailed log in a password-protected file on my laptop. Looking back, I probably went way overboard, but I was paranoid she would try to manipulate the situation somehow. I don't know. The hardest part was pretending everything was normal at home. I still took care of Emma, still acted like a committed husband. I'd get up for the 2 a.m. feedings, change diapers, the whole dad thing. Which was, it was confusing as hell emotionally because I'd bonded with this baby even though I knew she wasn't mine. I'd hold her and feel this connection and then remember the paternity test and feel sick all over again. During this time, I actually reconnected with my old college roommate Tyler. He had gone through something similar a few years back. His ex had tried to pass off another guy's kid as his. Talking to someone who understood helped a lot. He's actually become one of my closest friends again. I also started therapy without telling Megan. I'd tell Megan I was going to the gym or meeting clients. The therapist helped me process a lot of the anger I was feeling. I was seriously in a dark place for a while. Like, the kind of thoughts I was having scared me. Oh, and I took up woodworking in the garage. Sounds random, but I needed something physical to do with all this energy. I built this small jewelry box that I ended up giving to my mom later. She cried when I gave it to her, which made me feel good for like the first time in months. So after weeks of preparation, I decided to arrange this family dinner at our house. The official reason was to celebrate Emma turning 3 months old. I invited both my parents and Megan's parents. Megan seemed super excited about it, even suggested we invite a few close friends to make it a proper celebration. I said no to that. I wasn't trying to create some huge dramatic scene, even though looking back I totally was. Who am I kidding? I spent days planning each element of that dinner. What I would cook, what I would say, when I would reveal everything. I even secretly set up my phone to record the conversation because my lawyer suggested having audio evidence of her admission might be helpful. The really twisted thing is that Megan was being so affectionate and attentive in the days leading up to the dinner, always touching me, telling me how much she loved me, how happy she was that we were working things out. At the time, I thought maybe she really did love me and regretted everything. I actually had moments of doubt about my plan, but now I realize she was just feeling guilty. She knew something was up. Oh, and get this. Around the same time, Adam announced to our mutual friends that he had this potential job offer in another state. Everyone was congratulating him on this amazing career opportunity. I even heard about it from a friend who didn't know about the affair. Now, I know it wasn't some random job offer. It was an escape plan that he and Megan had been discussing. They were planning their exit strategy while I was planning my confrontation. Wild. I should mention that I'd always been really close with Megan's dad. He taught me how to fish, treated me like the son he never had. We would watch games together, and he'd always take my side when Megan and I had minor disagreements. Knowing I was about to upset his image of his daughter was almost as hard as the confrontation itself. So the night of the dinner finally arrives. Everyone shows up around 6. My mom brings lasagna, even though I told her I was cooking. Megan's mom takes Emma and starts saying how big she's getting. My dad and Megan's dad start talking about football. Dinner goes smoothly at first. I made roast chicken that actually turned out pretty good. Everyone's complimenting the food, sharing family stories. My dad asks about Emma's christening, which creates an awkward moment because we hadn't discussed it. Megan quickly changes the subject. After dessert, I stand up like I'm about to make a toast. Everyone gets quiet. Megan is smiling up at me, bouncing Emma on her lap. I told everyone I had something important to share. I announced that I'd had a paternity test done. Megan looked really upset. I put the results on the table and explained that I'm not Emma's biological father. Everyone reacted with shock and confusion. My mom started crying. Megan's mom kept saying this couldn't be right. Megan just sat there holding Emma, who was sleeping through it all. I explained about finding Adam at our house on the security camera. I had screenshots printed out that I also put on the table. I laid out the timeline of their affair, how it had clearly been going on before I caught them, how they continued it after Emma was born. I explained how I confirmed with the paternity test. Megan's mom was crying at this point. Her dad was just sitting there staring at the table. My mom asked Megan if Emma was Adam's child. Megan finally admitted everything. She started crying and saying she never meant to hurt anyone, and other excuses. Emma woke up from all the noise and started crying too. I told everyone that I'd filed for divorce and the papers would be served tomorrow. I asked Megan to pack some essentials and leave that night. I suggested she call Adam, which made her cry harder. Her dad said he'd take her to their house. He wouldn't even look at her. I thanked both sets of parents for coming and apologized for having to share such painful news. My mom hugged me really tight. Megan's dad shook my hand and told me he was sorry, which nearly broke me. The aftermath was intense. Megan moved in with her parents that night. The divorce proceedings moved pretty quickly given all the evidence of infidelity. I kept the house and most of our assets, but I did establish a small trust fund for Emma. My lawyer said I had zero legal obligation to her, but I'd bonded with her for those first few months and couldn't just pretend she didn't exist. Word spread fast through our social circle. Most of our friends sided with me and cut ties with both Megan and Adam. A few mutual friends tried to stay neutral at first, but eventually the details came out and they couldn't ignore what had happened. Adam faced some serious consequences. He lost his job after his company somehow found out about the situation. He's now legally required to pay child support for Emma, and last I heard, he had to move to another state for a lower-paying position. Megan also suffered professionally. She lost several marketing clients who were connected through me or my company. She eventually had to take a significant step down in her career at some smaller firm. I don't wish her ill, but I'm not going to pretend I feel bad about the consequences of her actions either. About 8 months after the divorce was finalized, I met Renee, female, 31, at this photography class I took. I was trying to develop new hobbies, reconnect with things I enjoyed before all this mess. We started as just friends in the class. I was upfront with her pretty early on about my past experiences, and she was so understanding and patient. Renee is an art therapist. She has this incredible empathy that helped me process my own issues in healthier ways. She brought joy back into my life when I honestly thought I'd never feel happy again. We've been dating for almost a year now and are talking about moving in together. It's still scary to trust someone again, but she's shown me consistently that she's worthy of that trust. We communicate about everything, sometimes to an annoying degree, but after what I went through, I need that. Meanwhile, Megan has reached out several times asking to reconcile. She's struggling financially from what I hear, and Adam isn't exactly being father of the year. He pays the minimum required child support, but has little actual involvement in Emma's life. I've firmly declined all of Megan's attempts to get back together. That door is permanently closed. I do occasionally check on Emma's welfare through mutual connections. Despite everything, I did develop a bond with her during those early months, and I want to make sure she's okay. She's not my responsibility, but she's also an innocent child in all this mess. I've moved past the bitterness for the most part. I'm focused on building a healthier, more honest relationship with Renee. It's weird to say, but in some ways this whole awful experience led me to a better place. Megan and Adam both lost everything, while I got a chance at real happiness. Edit. Thanks for all the supportive comments. To answer some common questions, yes, the trust fund for Emma is completely voluntary. I set it up for her education when she's older. It's not a huge amount, but enough to help with college someday. A lot of you are asking if I ever confronted Adam directly. No, I never spoke to him again after discovering the truth. I had nothing to say to him that would have made any difference, and I didn't trust myself to remain calm. For those asking about the security system, it was one of those wireless camera setups that sends alerts to your phone. Megan knew about the cameras. I installed them for home security, but didn't know they sent me notifications when someone came to the door.